bit and explain exactly how we got here, because sometimes I wonder myself how I got to doing this. I studied modern Greek at university, which was a strange choice at the time because I'd never learned modern Greek before. I'd been to Greece, obviously, on holiday. I'd loved the place, but I didn't know much about the country or the language or the culture or the football. I just thought it sounded like a cool thing to do, to go study modern Greek and go live in Athens for a year. So that's what I did. And afterwards, I decided to become a sports journalist. It's been something that I've wanted to do since I was probably 14 years old. And I've always loved football. My main team is Liverpool. In terms of Greek football, I've got a lot of soft spots for lots of different clubs. But in general, I support Greek football as a whole. I try not to be too biased. I like to be very neutral about things. So even though my affinity is officially towards AEK, I still like to see Olympiacos do well in Europe. I love to see Panathinaikos do well in Europe. I'm very annoyed when Aris don't do well in Europe, which is every season. But, what can we do? And so, yeah, I started... well, actually, the first person who got me into this, you've already interviewed him, is Stephen. I interviewed him back in 2021 because I wanted to write an article about Greek football. Because back in 2021, things weren't going too well. Not as well as things have gone since then. And there's a lot more optimism, I think, now than there was back then. But everything was in free fall. Like, I think John Van Schip was still the manager of the Ethniki. You had Olympiacos winning the league every season, which I'm sure made you very happy. But the Greek football in general, as sort of ever since I've started following it and writing about it and covering it, has gone from strength to strength. So I'm really glad for that, and I'm very glad to be doing what I do. That's essentially it. I try to go to Greece at least twice a year. I went to Crete in May to cover Offi's trip to the Greek Cup final. So I traveled with fans on the ferry to Athens, and I saw their last home match of the season, which might be their last home match at their former stadium for a while now, actually. Really good trip. And then I went to Tinos in about a month ago. And that was just a holiday. But I try and get back to Greece as much as possible. Try to practice my Greek as much as possible. But the problem is, when I go to Greece, Dennis, every time I speak Greek, everybody replies to me in perfect English, which means